Buenos días, estudiantes. This is día número 17 de nuestro remote learning. Today we are going to be learning about conjugation of the verbs ending in ER, IR ending verbs. Alrighty. In the past, back in second quarter, we learned the conjugation of the verbs ending with an AR. And I'm going to give you an example, cantar. Cantar is an example of an infinitive. Remember, infinitives are words in Spanish that end in AR, ER, and IR ending. If this one ends in an AR ending, which is cantar, we do a conjugation. What is conjugation? Conjugation is based on whoever is speaking in a sentence. You need to take away this AR ending and place in a specific letter. So let's recall this information. I cannot say, if I want to say I sing, I cannot say yo cantar. I need to conjugate. Conjugate meaning take away the AR ending and put an O. With the to form, if the sentence is talking about to, you take away the AR ending and then you are going to put an AS. With the él, ella, and usted, you need to conjugate, taking away the AR ending and then put an A. With the nosotros, you don't say nosotros cantar, you say nosotros, take away the AR ending, and you're going to say cantamos. With the vosotros, you're not going to say vosotros cantar, you're going to say vosotros cantáis. Take away the AR ending and put I's. Ellos and ustedes, you take away the AR ending. Notice you keep the root of this verb, and then you change it to an AN. The example in here is bailar, to dance. So you cannot say ellos bailar. You look on your notes and it says, oh, you put an AN ending. So ellos bailan. Today we are going to be learning about this conjugation of those verbs ending in an ER, IR ending. And let me reload this page for one quick second so this could actually saved. When we have these verbs ending with an ER, IR ending, there are specific changes that you all need to be aware, okay? And this is what we are going to be learning here in class. So I need you to take notes because this is what you are going to be doing today as a practice. If you would be in school, we would be practicing this every day until we memorize it. So I'm giving you two verbs. The verbs are comer, which is to eat, right? And the next verb is escribir, which is to write. Notice that comer is an infinitive. It's a verb that ends in an ER ending, and escribir is an infinitive because it ends in an IR ending, to write. So we need to learn these conjugations and the rules. So if I'm using comer, it could be, we have other verbs out there that end in an ER ending, but we're using comer for the example. So once again, conjugation, what does it mean? Well, it means to take away the AR, ER, and IR ending on the verbs and change it to a specific letter based on the subject. So right in here, we have the subjects. Alrighty, if I want to say I eat, I cannot say yo comer because then you're saying I to eat. You need to conjugate, taking away the ER, and putting an O with the yo form. With escribir, this is a verb that ends in an IR ending. What do I do? Well, I cannot put yo escribir because then you're saying I to write. Then you take away the IR ending. That means conjugation, and then you're going to put an O, yo escribo. That means I write. For the next one, the to form, you cannot say to comer, otherwise you're saying you to eat. You need to conjugate. Conjugate means taking away the ER ending, AR ending, or IR ending. And then for the to form, you're going to use ES. And for the IR ending form, and let me change this to a to, you cannot say to escribir. In there, it will translate it you to write. You are going to say, take away the IR ending, conjugate that, and then you're going to put an ES. Yes, an ES. I know that it has an I, but the rule says you're going to change the IR ending to an ES. For the él, ella, and usted, you cannot use comer. You cannot say él comer, he to eat, ella comer, she to eat. You need to conjugate. Take away the ER ending and put an E. Él come, ella come, and usted come. He eats, she eats, and you eat. For escribir, if I want to say he writes, she writes, I am going to conjugate escribir, because if I put it like that, it will say he to write. And I am going to write a letter E. For the nosotros form, conjugate the ER ending. And with the nosotros, you're going to put hemos. Nosotros comemos. We eat. If I want to say we write, we do not say nosotros escribir. Otherwise, you're saying we to write. You need to conjugate, take away the IR ending, and then you say nosotros escribimos. Notice the nosotros form you're going to see is the only one that is going to carry the I. For the rest, you're going to put an E. So nosotros escribimos will be we write. For the vosotros, conjugate the ER ending, and it will be coméis. There is an accent mark on top of the E. We're not worrying about accent marks. And for escribir, you take away the IR ending and put IS. Vosotros escribís. Escribís. Hold on. We're not using the vosotros form. Vosotros escribís. And then ellos and ustedes comer. You don't say it like that. You're saying they to eat. You say ellos take away the ER ending and put en. Ellos comen. They eat. Ustedes comen. You all eat. And for the ellos and ustedes with the IR ending, you take the IR ending and you're going to put an EN. What is it telling you? It is telling you that pretty much the only one that you need to memorize is the ER ending, because the ER ending and the IR ending share the same rule with the only exception of these two pronouns, the nosotros and the vosotros, boys and girls. Why? Because instead of changing it to an E, as you've been doing in the other ones, except for the your form, you are going to keep it with an I. This practiquemos, let's practice, it is based on your assignment for today's day. So we have two different verbs, right? Comer and escribir. On your assignment, a verb is going to be given in parentheses. That verb you need to conjugate. That means you need to take away the the ER and the IR ending based on this chart and the pronoun. So, ella pasta. Well, she pasta. She eats pasta or she writes pasta? Hello, she eats pasta. So it is comer. If it is ella, you take away the ER ending and you put in E. So, ella come pasta. She eats pasta. Yum, yum. Next one, it says, ellos todos los días en el cuaderno. Keyword, en el cuaderno. Cuaderno means notebook. So what can you do? Eat every day in the notebook or write every day in the notebook? Which one makes sense? Oh, to write. So it will be escribir. If you put escribir, it is incorrect because you are not conjugating. You need to conjugate the verb. What does conjugate means, Miss O'Leary? Well, rewind the video so you can see that. You need to take away the ER, IR ending, and then you are going to say escriben. Put an EN because it's ellos. This one, Felicia y tú. When it says tú, it's not you guys. It's not you. It's someone else. So you're saying Felicia and you, and then it says helado los sábados. Here's the key word, the word helado. What does helado means? Chapter 2. So you're saying Felicia and you. So that means you. Blank ice cream on Saturdays. Do you eat ice cream or do you write ice cream? So then it will be eat. So Felicia y tú. That will be ellos, right? Or ellas. Or ustedes. More than two people. So notice what I do to the verb. You conjugate, you take away the ER ending and put in EN. Felicia, tú comen helado los sábados. And my last one is with the yo form. Yo poemas. What is poemas? This is chapter 2. Ooh, poemas means poems. Do you eat poems or do you write poems? Once again, vocab takes it's the most important part in here. When you guys reach 8th grade, you need to know all the words in order to keep going. This is what 8th grade becomes a little bit challenging for the students, because you need to remember all the words that you have learned in the past. So it will be yo escribir. Oh, is that right? No, it is not right, because I'm saying I to write. You need to conjugate, taking away the IR ending. With the yo form, you put an O. So you're saying yo escribo poemas. I write poems. And this is our lesson for today.